Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. Hope someday you join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. Wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. Hope someday you join us, and the world will be as one.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. Let's see, he's trying to get me quiet. So, no, he's helping. Thank you, Max. I was just standing there noticing the beautiful sunset and the stillness of this evening when we could have had rain and we could have had wind. And there's something magical about the evening settling at the same time we're settling. And so thank you so much. My name is Chris Valley. I have the honor of serving as the executive director of Hospice East Bay. And we're truly grateful to be with you tonight, to come together to create the space of peace during what can be a chaotic holiday season. And remember those that we have left, honoring the stories of their lives and being present with one another in this community of remembrance. Our organization has deep roots in this community. Since 1977, Hospice East Bay has been the only not-for-profit hospice based in Contra Costa County. For nearly 5 decades, our mission has remained unchanged to provide skilled, tender, respectful care to every patient and family who needs us. The commitment is woven into everything we do. This past year, we cared for over 1,060 patients, 49 we served in Pleasant Hill, 33 in Martinez, and 118 in Concord and Clayton. Each person had their own story and their own light and their own circle of people who led them. Thanks to the generosity of our community, including those who support our events like tonight, the Tree of Light ceremony, we are able to offer rich programs that honor the full experience of living and grieving. Programs such as our veteran-centered care program, rich grief service offering, full circle aftercare, and our Bruns House, the only inpatient hospice house in the Bay Area, all funded through generous donations and the revenue from our wonderful 6 thrift stores throughout our service area. This year, we joined with 3 other not-for-profit hospices in the Western region and affiliated with a larger organization called Chapters Health. It was a community-centered, nonprofit, grounded in the mission of taking care of patients and those who take care of their patients. Though we remain Hospice East Bay, locally led, and our fundraising stays local, this partnership strengthens our ability to preserve compassionate and mission-driven hospice and palliative care into the future, so that we are able to be here for you when you need us. Thank you for being with us tonight, the light that you carry into this space, and thank you for the support you have given Hospice East Bay for these years. We're honored to walk this journey with you and beside you in our community. Now, we will hear from Nadhane Emmanuel. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Nadhane Emmanuel, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President of Ancillary Services here at John Muir Health. On behalf of John Muir Health, thank you for joining us for this Tree of Light ceremony in partnership with Hospice of East Bay. Whether you're here in memory of someone you love, in support of those who are grieving, or as part of the Hospice of the East Bay and John Muir Health family, we gather tonight to remember together. The holidays can be a tender time. Alongside joy, there's often a deep awareness of who's missing. I'm reminded of a simple truth. Grief in many ways is the last act of love. It's what our love does when we no longer have a hand to hold or a voice to hear. As we light this tree here at Concord Medical Center, along with the trees across the East Bay, each light represents a life, a story, and a love that continues in all of you. To our Hospice of the East Bay partners and to the physicians, nurses, and staff of John Muir Health, thank you for the compassion you bring to patients and families every day. Thank you for being here tonight, for remembering, and for allowing us to share in this act of love. I would like to introduce Nicole Gauthier, Hospice of East Bay, to read a short poem. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nicole Gauthier. I'm the bereavement counselor for Hospice East Bay. Before I read our poem tonight, I would just like to honor the space that we're in and acknowledging that we are all here together serendipitously because trees fell, but we are here and all along this journey together, even though we are on different paths. So before I read this, I just want to bring us all together with a guided breathing so we can just honor why you're here and the legacy of your loved ones that still remains. So you are welcome to stand, close your eyes, whatever makes you feel comfortable. We're going to do 3 deep breaths together, and then I will read our poem. So for those who want to close your eyes, this is the opportunity just to, again, be in space together and be in community together and honor those who have transitioned and have now left a legacy. So let's take our first deep breath in together and hold it and release. Second deep breath in, hold it and release. Third breath, breathe in, hold it and release. Thank you. So I'm going to be reading Shipwrecked. As for grief, you'll find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. All you can do is float. You find some pieces of the wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing, maybe it's an unhappy memory or a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe if a person who is also floating. For a while, all you can do is float and stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. When they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe. You can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It may be a song, a picture, a street intersection, a smell of a cup of coffee. It can just be about anything. And the wave comes crashing. But in between those waves, there is life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are 80 feet tall or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart. You can see them coming, an anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at O'Hare. You can see it coming for the most part and prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will again come out on the other side. Soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you will come out. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you really don't want them to. But you learn that you'll survive them, and other waves will come and you'll survive those too. So again, just like this poem, we lose our breath and the grief stays with us forever. It's how we manage it, and finding community is how we can build strength and continue to find every day to take those little breaths and just know that you will continue on this journey with support. So again, my name is Nicole Gauthier. I'm a bereavement counselor, and if anybody would like to talk or just have extra support along this journey, you can find me after the ceremony and we can just share some space together. So now we will go on to Paul and Frankie and begin the lighting of our candles.
May the sun shine on your shoulders. May luck and love be your friend. From now, always, forever, till we meet again. May your troubles be few. I hope life's good to you. May your heart beat steady and strong. Yeah, I wish you the best. May you find happiness every step of the road you're on. May the wind fill your sails through the wind and the hail and carry you safely back home. May your journey unfold to a big pot of gold at the end of your way home. And may the sun shine on your shoulders. May luck and love be your friend. Now light fill your glass, and may the memories last. May the whiskey kiss you goodnight. May you wake every day with a smile on your face, and the ones that you love by your side. And may the sun shine on your shoulder. May luck and love be your friend. Now, always, forever, till we meet again. May the sun shine on your shoulder. May luck and love be your friend. Now, always, forever, till we meet again.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Zach Chess. I'm the mayor of Pleasant Hill, along with my city council colleague, Sue Nowak. And I just wanted to start out before we read the names of Pleasant Hill loved ones. One of the things that I've uniquely learned is that with grief, there's gratitude. There's gratitude for the ones that loved one, for the time that we spend with them and how much we love them. Gratitude for the support that we had from our other loved ones, perhaps caring for that person. Gratitude for the medical teams, perhaps, that helped them. And gratitude for services like Hospice at the East Bay and for what and all the wonderful services that they provide. You know, for all of us, each one of us, grief is kind of like a fingerprint, right? And it's all, we all have a unique one. And I think great organizations like this recognize that. And they treat us all very uniquely as we process the grief of the loss of the loved one. And so the other gratitude that we have tonight is that our tree, unfortunately, did not make it this year. And so we really appreciate the scrambling of Hospice at the East Bay and our brethren here in Concord who graciously brought us over here so that we could spend time with you today and honor the loved ones that we're about to read here. So thank you. And we'll now begin reading the loved ones.
I just want to add a brief comment. Today is very special to me. My mother-in-law is under hospice care right now. She was given her last rites yesterday. And so we're just waiting. So this service means even more to me than normal. I lost my sister October 11th as well. So this is a really emotional time for me as well for this. So thank you all for being here and for everybody's support of each other, and especially for Hospice East Bay.
Mary Jane Acklip, Terry Ailman, Lisa Baxter, Jacob Lee Brooks, Justin Brooks,
Jack Butler, Mary Chatfield, Enid Hone, Nancy Park, Gladys Cook, Don Cook,
William Docherty, Linda Sue Poor, Phyllis Catruvo, Anne Marie Catruvo, Audrey Dawson, Jean Ellen Dickinson,
Leo and Hester Fasone, John Ward Flaherty, Lucia Rose Flaherty, Kyle Furr,
Roger Gant, Jerry Glass, Michael J. Goldstein, Tom Hopt, Nancy Hopt,
Sally Ann Hine, Art Hadema, Betty Kirsch, Elizabeth Irby, Dave Jenny,
Arlene Kula, Robert Lanfear, Dave Madsen, La Masoni, Robert Mimiaga,
Michael Mimiaga, Faye Mood, Sid Nasser, Larry Neff, Martin Fitzgerald Niels,
Carrie Nelson, Edward Nelson, John Nolan, Michael Nolan, Luan Takabunto,
Nicorn Takabunto, Dennis Pierce, Jane Repellion, Harry Ratner, Betty Ryan,
Pat Ryan, Ron Rice, Bobby Signs, Ike Signs, Daniel T. Salter, Deborah Jean Chess,
Grace Helen Strand, Melvin Strand, Jr., Ralph Turgison, Ann Turgison, Francis Thorpe,
Robert Randolph Walker, Margaret Elizabeth Walker, Maxine Wilson, Lori Anos Wolf. This concludes the Pleasant Hill names. I would like to call up, if she's here, the mayor of Martinez, Brianne Zorn.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brianne Zorn. I'm the mayor of Martinez, and I am shorter than both the council member and the mayor of Pleasant Hill. I'm going to thank everyone for being here this evening. As many of you are aware, not only did the Pleasant Hill tree fell, but the Martinez tree fell this fall as well. So as we in Martinez are looking for a new location, I want to thank Concord for sharing their tree of lights with us. So tonight, as we gather beneath this Concord tree of lights, we remember and honor the people who have shaped our lives with love, wisdom, and joy. Hospice East Bay has long been a pillar of compassion in our community, walking alongside families during some of their most difficult moments and reminding us that no one should face the end of life alone. Their care brings dignity, comfort, and peace, not just to patients, but to the loved ones who hold their hands. The tree lighting, just like Councilmember Nowak, has a personal impact for me tonight. Last week, my uncle passed away. Uncle Mike's health had been slowly failing for many years. Sandy, his partner of over a decade, had loved and supported him every day, but she'd become unable to care for him. My cousin Meredith moved him into hospice care just a few months ago. They took care of him and provided him the medical care that he needed. As we illuminate this tree tonight, let it stand as an act of remembrance and healing. Thank you, Concord, for sharing this moment of comfort and community with us. I will now read the Martinez memorial names. Michael Allen, Dorothy Allen, Jean Allen, Winona Andreas, Fontella Annis, Michael Aston, better, Bob Baer, Louis Ball, Eva Ball, Phyllis Ball O'Brien, Roy Barnacle, Eva Barnes, Jim Bennett, Robert Bennett, Rick Bergstrom, Cindy Bossy, Josephine Bransoff, Charles W. Brown, Arlene Rothschild Bush, Vernon Carpenter, Don Cavanis, Doris Ann Chapman, John Chavette, Dennis Clough, Gary Clevinger, Marcella Coleridge, Cheryl Copeland, Joe Catone, Denise Doty, Carol Engel, Marie Etchison, Francis Evans, Quinby Evans, Daniel Evans, Ray and Rose Ferrarini, Ray Ferrarini Jr., Mark Faust, Shannon Friel, the Galloway family, George Gamba, Susan Gamba, the Gardella family, Maddie and Gerald Guthrie, Michael Stephen Hamilton, Vivian Hartz, Edna Kitty Hay, Kevin Hornbuckle, Dennis Lee Howerton, Frank Jaggers, Linnell Derrick Johnson, Frank J. Caffell II, Nicholas Allen Ivor Caffell, Carol G. Caffell, Loretta Kent, Gary Kearns, Paul Krantz, Johnny John LeBlanc, Mary Jane Mann, Sharon Mann, Charles Maisie, Frank Marble, Tony Martinez, Rosemary H. Martinez, Mary C. Martinez, Dorothy Matthews, Remedios B. Merida, Laura Miller, Laurel D. Moore, the Mustafa family, Jaquita and R.J. Odell, Carlene Patnode, Angelina Pepin, Gregory Pepin, Bula Perez, Karen Pratt, Joe Ramirez, Betty Jane Rank, John Shirek, Carol Ramirez Schroeder, Glenn L. Sears, Robert B. Stegman, Mary C. Stegman, Robert J. Stegman, Doris L. Stegman, Clara E. Stegman, Ray Stevens, Lillian Sullivan, Bob Tallman, Jackie Tallman, Connie R. Vallis, the Webster family, Jean, Nancy, Brenda, and Artis, Amy Marie Wilhelmus, Gwendolyn L. Weingarten, Jeff Wright, and Kim Yeager. That concludes the Martinez memorial names, and I'd like to introduce to read the Concord Clayton memorial names, Mats from Hospice East Bay. Mats. Go Mats.
Thank you so much. I'd like to acknowledge the name readers. I do a lot of the reading of the names, and we all do practice, but everybody's name is pronounced differently. So I always ask people to sort of hear the name in the voice that you want to hear it, in the way you want to hear it, and I will do my best. These are the Concord names: Catherine Andrade, Ronald John Artali, Charlie M. B. Greg Bigelow, Mary Chatterton, Harry Cobbs, John F. Collins, Johnny Jordan Cowan, Betty Dashner, Michael David Roberts, Joe Edwards, Chris Eisner, Rose Marie Elliott, Jim Ellsbury, Ellen Findlay Erdogan, David Flory, Rosalind Trishar Rowe, Sharon Ginter, Edward Gonzalez, Lynn and Ann Gray, Judy Gurisoli, Roger Carles, Carol Bernice Hess, Ernie and Marcella Coleman, Dorothea Marie Howard, Suzanne Howard, Charles Ianota, Esther Ianota, Carol Jenkins, Craig C.J. Johnson, Jake Kissinger, Thomas Daniel Kozinski, Betty Jean Larry, Bob Lehman, Sylvia Leonard, Sharon Leonard, Sandra Lombardi Borland, Rich Malone, Deanie Malone, John Melle, Juan Morales, Kathleen Muller, Warren Muller, Pariani Brown and Freitas family, Donnie Peebles, Jesse Peebles, Nancy Rose Peterson, Danielle Pimentel, Sharon Pimentel, Mary and John Presuto, Sarah and Jim Prus, Karen von Reichbauer, Mickey Rijavec, Rita Rijavec, Gregory Rivers, Patricia W. Sable, Dr. Howard Schneider, Alice Schroering, Henry Seagrove, Dolores Mendez Seagrove, Deborah Jean Schuss, Bill Sloan, Colleen Stern, Cheryl Sweet, Howard Sweet, Brian Sweet, Kathleen Tallman, Maria Terra Alemán, Chris Turner, Kevin Blake Vesely, Edgar Cajeton Villacorta, Minnie Vines, Nancy Washmera, Larry D. Ziedler. Those are our Concord names. I now get the pleasure of introducing Noga Wellner Kessler, who is our Veterans Program Manager, who will speak a few words about our Veterans Program and then read our veterans' names.
Thank you. Good evening. As we gather here tonight, in remembrance of those who have passed away years ago, or perhaps this year, let us remember and honor those among us who have served in the armed forces as well as their families. From World War I, the war to end all wars, to the present day, our generations of warriors are aging in great numbers and passing away. And as they pass, with them pass the stories of generations of service and of sacrifice. For those who served in peacetime, and for those who served in war, lest we forget, today, let us remember. For our World War II veterans, as it is often said, the greatest generation, we remember you with pride and with honor, and we thank you. For our Korean War veterans, our warriors from a forgotten war, we remember, and we thank you for your service and your courage, and we honor you. For our Vietnam veterans, for our Vietnam veterans, our brothers and sisters who fought 2 wars, one in Vietnam and one back home, and for those who are still fighting. It is our privilege and an honor to care for you. We remember you, we honor your service and your sacrifice, and we welcome you home. For our Gulf War veterans and those who served in Afghanistan and Iraq in our recent wars, you who served and sacrificed in your generation's war, we recognize that many of you still suffer from the injuries you incurred during your service in the War on Terror. And we honor you and we recognize those sacrifices. And tonight, we also recognize that as conflicts may continue through our regions of our world, where young men and women may once again be called to take up arms, for now, there is quiet. For all of our young men and women who served, you were and you are second to none. From Iwo Jima, Omaha Beach, and Normandy, to the frozen chosen reservoirs, to the jungles of Vietnam,
from Panama, Kosovo, Bosnia, Somalia, to Fallujah and Ramadi, Kabul, and Kandahar, to Syria and Lebanon, as well as many other places and periods in time. We remember your service with pride, and we recognize and honor the weight of those sacrifices made. We honor you today and every day, and in the memory of all our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and all our veterans who are no longer with us, we thank you. Never forgotten. Harold Ahern, U.S. Army. David Arizu, United States Army, retired. Jack Babook, U.S. Army. James Valentine, U.S. Navy. Niall Barraclough, U.S. Army. Mario Beria, Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard. Kendrick Brady, U.S. Air Force. Raymond Bradshaw, U.S. Army. Robert Bridges, U.S. Army. Jim Brooks, U.S. Marine Corps. Frank Burrows, U.S. Navy. Robert Butkus, U.S. Army. Carl Casey, U.S. Navy. Louis Castilla, U.S. Navy. Marty Castilla, U.S. Air Force. Joseph Daughtry, U.S. Navy. Bob Dauphiné, U.S. Navy. Joe Davis, U.S. Army. Tim DeLaura, U.S. Army. Charles Dorman, U.S. Army. James Duncan, U.S. Army. David Edward Ross, U.S. Army. Victor Emerith, U.S. Army. Edward Ross, U.S. Navy. Excuse me. Paul W. English, U.S. Army. Harold Fairclough, U.S. Army. Neil Galvin, U.S. Navy. James Garcelin, U.S. Air Force. Thomas Gold, U.S. Navy. Jerry Gould, U.S. Army. Nick Grifakis, U.S. Army. Kenneth Harold, U.S. Navy. Dale Hockland, U.S. Navy. Ralph Hebert, Jr., U.S. Navy. Lloyd Hubert, U.S. Navy. Ken Hubert, MD, U.S. Air Force. Dennis Howerton, U.S. Navy. Jack Jennings, U.S. Marine Corps. Robert Krause, U.S. Navy. Dean Kretz, U.S. Air Force. Robert Pensinger, U.S. Navy. Robert H. Leach, U.S. Army. Robert Leonard, U.S. Army Corps. Donald McCormick, U.S. Marine Corps. Danny McCutter, U.S. Marine Corps. James McGrath, U.S. Army. Raymond McNara, U.S. Coast Guard. Larry W. Moon, U.S. Navy. Roger J. O'Connor, U.S. Navy. Raymond O'Kane, U.S. Navy. Edwin Peter Parrish, U.S. Marine Corps. Ray Paris, U.S. Air Force. Frank J. Brzezinski, U.S. Navy. Hal Rutledge, U.S. Navy. Peter Sanverasok, U.S. Army. George Scaglia, U.S. Army. Doug Scott, U.S. Coast Guard. Al Simonson, U.S. Navy pilot. Donald Sobak, U.S. Navy. Edwin M. Spencer, U.S. Navy. Harold S. Steinberg, U.S. Air Force. Stephen Strobel, U.S. Army. Richard Sims, U.S. Army. Norman Thorpe, U.S. Navy. Robert Tillotson, U.S. Army. Frank Turner, U.S. Army Air Corps. Dr. Tila Velna, IDF Army. Dr. Captain Amos Velna, IDF Army. John N. West, Army Air Corps. Tom Whitten, U.S. Army. James G. Wilson, U.S. Army. William L. Weingarten, U.S. Army. And Dave Young, U.S. Navy.
I want to apologize. I missed the name for Concord. Brenda Pierce McCorkle. We will now have caps. Thank you so much for being. Try this one. Thank you so much for being here. And now it's my honor to not only present the Concord, but we will also be the Pleasant Hill and Martinez Tree of Lights. As you leave the ceremony today, a couple of things I always like to tell people. One, look up on the tree and pick a light. Make that your light. And as you drive past here, as you're busy holiday season, look up and remember that person and what that person meant to you.